Cochran.
Here.
Ms. Falter. Ms. Joseph. Here. Mr. Hilborn.
Here.
Ms. Steinbeck.
Here.
Mayor Riggle. Here. Vice Chairman Bennington.
Here.
And Chairwoman Santos.
Is there a motion to either sanction or excuse the people who are absent?
I would make a motion that we excuse the persons that aren't here. What is it, 3 we're missing? Yeah.
Mr. Byers, Ms. Falter, and Chairwoman Santos.
Good.
I second that.
And before you vote, I guess I feel honor bound. I did speak to Chairwoman Santos about an hour ago, and she indicated she was sick and she had been hoping to make it, but she did in fact sound horrible, and we're better off for her not coming because she
Yeah,
talked
okay.
at least 10 times on the phone. But she did apologize for not making it, and she assured us that she will be able to hopefully come to the council meeting on Monday.
Okay.
So you can vote with a clear conscience.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Do we do that already? No, I don't think so.
No, we
Okay.
interrupted.
Okay, the motion carries. Is there a motion to approve the motion summary for the meeting held May 19th, 2016, as recorded and transcribed?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. And were you going to handle the changes, Darren? Is that?
Yes, I'd be happy to.
Okay.
So here's how I thought we would kind of tackle our final meeting, and I'll throw a potential monkey wrench in it before I start. I sent out this document earlier, but I'm throwing it up on the screen because if we can make all the changes here together, you don't have to trust me to come back, we can get done. So first I have the drafts based on the comments that we mentioned at our last meeting, so we can finalize these. At that time, we will have sort of a total package of all of the amendments that we have talked about, and we could vote on that document tonight and be done. The potential monkey wrench that I just want to bring to everyone's attention before we get done with that is, in speaking to Chairwoman Santos, she realized when she reviewed my draft kind of cover memo for council that we really did have a lot of changes, and she had some concerns in seeing it kind of laid out that our ballot issue would be very, very long. And she started thinking, well, maybe we don't want to do just some of the as I described them, style changes, the getting rid of the buts and the generalities, because she thought it might bog down the whole thing and make it confusing for voters. So in talking briefly with now Chairman Bennington before the meeting, I guess we have, when we get to that point, we have 3 options. We can go through and kind of strip some of those out. 2, we can just leave it for council to decide and put that as part of our package and let them kind of strip it out when they have their meeting. Or we can just leave them all and we think they're important. But I just want to bring that issue up to the commission before we voted, because we've kind of had that talk before, and I think when she read my cover memo, she realized, oh, there really are a lot more changes than I thought. But for now, we can definitely just work on the changes that we made from last time, and then we can tackle that when we get to it. So the first item is section 90. This is the one that my colleague David kindly wrote for us, and so it's a little out of order, but we just had to wait because it's a little bit more complicated. So what this did is try to fix up that audits process, and I think it kind of reflects what we talked about, but it was kind of a complicated one to do, so I'd like everyone to just take a second to see if this does what we thought we wanted. Can everyone see it? I can make it bigger
I can see it.
here.
Can everyone else see it?
I can read it if that helps too. That help? I can go bigger.
Please don't read it.
Oh,
Yeah, I never want to see it again. Here, it's probably
I
better.
would rather just read it myself,
Okay.
personally.
You're at the closest one. I think it read fine with the changes.
Yeah.
I think it definitely cleaned up a lot of that weirdness
Yeah.
about where it was
I
coming
agree.
from.
Yeah.
So if the commission is okay with this one, we can move on.
Yes.
Okay, this is the Civil Service Commission change, as you can see, it strips out the date that we've kind of consistently done and clarifies that this commission is required to be electors of the city of Delaware, which is consistent with our practice and probably all of our other commissions as well.
Okay.
Any concerns with that one?
Yep.
So this is the first of a few, what I call style changes in my cover memo. It just strikes generally out of 102, 104, 107. Yeah, so 3 of those in a row where that's the only change to take out the word generally, which generally is a good idea. I did it on purpose. But we can decide whether we want to continue with that kind of level of cleanup. So I'll leave it in for now, and then we can have that bigger discussion.
Right.
Okay, so the next substantive change is on 109. We basically, based on other changes, we figured out they weren't doing that, so we just struck this whole thing, which I think is a good change, but I want to make sure everyone was okay with that still.
Just out of curiosity's sake, does that mean 109 and then section below it will then become 109?
I don't think we usually do renumbering. It
I
usually
was just
says,
curious.
the way I usually see it is it just says repealed,
Oh,
and
okay.
it kind of holds it there, because
Okay.
it would get really confused. Even with the code, we don't go back and renumber everything. We
It was
leave
just,
it.
I was like, what do we do if it's not?
Yeah, I think it would say repealed. Now, if we were going to do like a whole issue, like we're doing a whole charter, we probably would renumber, but since we're just doing amendments, that would require a cascade of amendments, so.
Sure.
Good question. Does that meet with whatever we discussed 109? 110 just strikes out that weird section about council can direct through the city manager that the planning commission carry out specific tasks. Well, if it's talking about something that's already in the charter, it's kind of repetitive, so we thought we'd take that out. Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay, 113 clarifies the ward thing, basically just says, because it was really weird about reducing and 4 and above. So we basically just said the number of wards, we got rid of but, the number of wards will not be increased or decreased except through the charter change process. That makes it simple. And that's the only change there. Just stop me if I should stop, I'll just keep going. Oh. This one basically just adds in that if you're going to be a candidate, you need to be a resident of the ward as defined by section 7 of this charter. That's where we added in the state definition of residency. So if we ever change that section up there, it'll automatically hook in down here. 118 renumbers it to get us back up to where we are now. So it basically says 2019, every 4th year thereafter, the candidate from each ward will receive the votes, and then 2017, every 4th year, the 3 candidates at large. So we just kind of started the numbering now. And Carol, I'm going to rely on you. That's right in terms of 17 is the at large. Okay, good. I was so paranoid. I looked at it like 5 different times, so I don't want to screw up the whole thing. 19 clarifies how the salary is done, which basically says council can fix it by ordinance, which can either be a range or an exact salary. It eliminates that weird distinction between some department heads and not other ones that we spent all too much time talking about. 126 gets rid of the paper copies and the books and says we're going to maintain an official copy of the charter and any amendments, and it may be maintained electronically. And that's all we've got for the changes we discussed last time. So now that we've gone through all of those, I can move those to the end of this document. And so we could vote to move this whole thing forward, unless you wanted to go through the other ones again, or we could spend a little bit of time discussing whether we want to move everything forward or whether we want to strip out some of the more stylistic ones or leave that for council. So I'll kind of leave it up to the chairman on how he wants to handle that.
Yeah, I'll entertain any discussion about that. I mean, Darren, as far as I'm concerned, Darren expressed 3 ways to do this, and one is to leave everything in that we've done, including the 1-word changes and the 3-letter words and all those things, and then leave it to council whether to include those things or not. And then they have a couple of choices, and that would be either to put it on the ballot as a single issue of a charter change, and so vote on the whole charter rather than individual sections, or or we could recommend that all the charter change be individual ballot issues. That's the choice. Either pass the whole charter or you pass every change as an individual ballot issue, which we would probably have 144. So, we have a lot of them.
I would probably say we do it all as one, and it'd be really,
Yeah.
really long, but I just
Yeah.
can't see it, the voters voting on more than 5
So,
changes.
tell me how the voters prior to the election can compare the two documents.
They will, all of our, every draft that I've given you has like strike throughs and bolds, so you can know what's changed. So that document would be made available. So in prior years, I think they've published the whole thing in the newspaper. I think this year we're going to try to, the way I've drafted the draft ordinance is to post the newspaper that you can go to our website and read everything, because otherwise no one's going to see it anyway. And then we can have paper copies here, and we'll post it on our website the whole time, and it'll show this is everything that's changing.
Yeah, the library is a good place too.
Oh, that's an excellent
All the libraries, actually, so.
Yep.
LinkedIn, and we'll probably, yeah, social media.
Like the social media outlets, because I don't,
Well, that's true.
Well, nobody really reads, well, I don't want to say anything nobody, but very few people read the
I
newspaper,
don't
so
read
that's
the newspaper.
not an effective way of getting it out anyway. So we are legally required to put notice in the newspaper, so we'll tell people, hey, we're doing charter changes,
Yeah.
go here. But I don't really see there's much value in having all
If
this.
it's on LinkedIn or if it's on,
You can be posted on the utility bills too, so.
the
I
utility.
mean, not
bills.
included, but
I
at
was going to
least.
say where you can go get it, but.
No, right, exactly.
Okay, so
exactly.
given the availability of the changes for the 1.5 voters who are going to seek them out and read them, I guess my preference would be that we don't undo anything that we've done, even if it seems slight to us, because the next charter commission will just waste time doing that again.
Mhm.
So I know those little anomalies seem unimportant, but they were important enough to members of this commission to pull them out. So I guess I think that it is not going to, since it is one ballot issue and it's readily available to people, I don't see that it would preclude anyone voting.
Yeah.
It's just like voting for judges you don't know.
Who's got the best name?
Yeah.
Well, I'll follow up on Charlotte's comment. I agree completely that I don't, even though we're taking out like the word generally and so forth, I think if we don't do it, who's going to do it?
Right.
And my thinking is that, yes, we don't want to get to the voters, the voting booth and have people get confused with 100 and some issues. That's not, so I think some way to vote on the whole thing. People, and as we've talked about, they have the ability to go and read it if they want. But I don't think we strike out these, I mean, I think we proceed with the way we've done it, and I think it's important. And because if we don't do it, somebody else is going to have to clean it up later on, and why not? I mean, come on.
I so agree, because I think we've done what was asked of us as a commission, and we put a lot of thought into it. I will say, if city council would decide that it would be best to remove those, I think that's their prerogative, but
Yeah.
Yep.
I would.
Yeah, we're just a recommending body to city council,
Yeah.
so, sure.
And will your letter be available with it?
Yeah, so the way I envisioned it is, I've had this done for a couple of days, but I didn't want to be presumptuous and say, here's changes, because we hadn't voted on them yet. So tomorrow, I will email a copy of our document, but I'll move the stuff on the top to the bottom to council for review, and a copy of our memo, which will then become part of the package that's in the packet for the next 2 weeks for them to consider and things like that. So that will be the cover. Now it will be with council packet for them. It wouldn't go to the voters. It wouldn't be part of our ballot issue, but we can make it available for everyone to see. It's a public document, and we could say, look, if you're trying to figure out
What all we did.
What all we
here's a nice
did.
Little summary.
exactly, so
An
that would be available.
abstract, if you will.
Right.
Yeah,
And
as long as that's made available with the public document, that's the only thing that I would
I
ask.
agree. Yeah.
How many council meetings are there between now and the time you actually have to file with the Board of Elections, do you know? Or
I believe if we put it on this Monday's agenda, which I put on, there'll be at least the 3 we need to hit that time. And I think it's probably worth going through readings,
I
but
think it's some publicity that way, some.
Yeah, some, but
Everybody watches this on YouTube.
hey, we had what, 5 viewers one time, right?
They just don't view, they view later.
Yeah, that's what I've noticed about the newspaper anyway, so. You tell me nobody's watching, and then he writes a verbatim of the meeting.
For the meetings anymore. He's got the at home.
Oh, does he?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
tell me that.
Nobody watched live, but if you get on YouTube, you can see how many views.
Right,
There's been quite a few for charter.
yeah.
You want to come to the screen?
Interesting.
So I think I've heard a pretty,
Yeah,
given that consensus, like, I would say the next step we could do, if the chairman is okay with this, we could have a vote on the entire package document, and move along that way.
I would think so. So I think what I would entertain is a motion to approve all the changes that we have reviewed and Darren has packaged now, and send that to council as our recommendation, and leave it to council then to decide how it will be placed on the ballot. Does that sound reasonable to everybody here?
So moved.
Okay.
Second, whatever it was he said. With the caveat that, that the things that didn't make it into the change that we'd like council to look at are contained in the letter.
Right.
And just for a preview, I thought since we had time, and I just kind of tried my best to do the letter, I have it up on the screen too, so if you had any comments, we can noodle around with the letter as well. So that'll be next, once we get this done. We can play with that as well.
Okay, so there was, Charlotte moved and second? Stephanie seconded, okay. Is there, yeah, all in favor, I'm sorry.
aye.
Aye. Nobody's opposed, it appears, so motion carries.
So if you were to leave now, you've done your job. You need to go the extra mile.
Because your letter is your letter, so
Yes.
Yeah, right.
it has nothing to do with us.
Way to walk away from it there. And I'm okay leaving it the way it is, but I just figured I'd give you the opportunity, since I just kind of did this on my own, to take your comments.
Yeah, you've actually put our name on it, so I guess we do need to read it.
Yeah.
I could just put Darren Schultz on it if you want. I didn't want to be presumptuous.
No, that's fine.
2016 charter review.
That's fine.
There we go.
Yes, where? Oh, okay. Look at David with it. Damn, cool. You just saved the whole thing? Oh, I better save the file. Oh, that's fine. And I don't know if you want me to leave it up or you want me to print out copies. It's 5 pages long. I didn't know if you had a chance to read it before. And it gets real fast later on.
I think it's fine this way.
One thing I think you will want to look at, because I know it's very important to the commission, was how I tried to deal with the issues that we did not vote on. So maybe we can look at that real quick. Because I know we want to tell them, hey, we looked at this, we think they have merit. So here's kind of how I tried to deal with that.
I don't remember it that way.
Okay, well, let's change it then. Oh, you know what? I think that might have been the one meeting we missed. No, I think because I think we did talk about it. Didn't we talk about the expansion
Yes, we
for a
did.
long time? I mean, it was,
Yeah, we
I think
did.
it was
We did
early
talk
on.
Okay,
But
but I
if-
missed that one.
I'm not trying to throw anything. I think there was literally one meeting you missed, and I think
Yeah.
that happened to be.
Actually, I think that first paragraph sounds fine to me, as far as the expansion of the number of wards and how you read it, or how you've written it. I think it sounds fine.
Because
As
Charlotte,
far
that's
as
a
I'm
very
concerned.
early section in the thing, so I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. No, it's fine. Can we see the next
Yes.
paragraph?
Oh, yeah, thank you.
Oh, thank you.
I'm saving it again. I'm going to send it to you to review then. Let's see. Here. No, because this is like a subject. I'll bold it. No, it's okay.
It's said very well.
It's like a
I
subject.
think that you captured a long and arduous conversation. I would say requiring 50% of the vote to be elected
Where?
in the first sentence.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, I just fixed, okay.
I don't know, the 50% kind of bothers me. I guess that's what we said.
Well, I could change. I think we basically said we don't want to do it, but.
Oh,
we-
yeah.
But we weren't, I mean, I can,
And no, I'm just, because we wanted it to be a strong majority, so, okay, it's okay. As long as we had 2B.
My 2 cents worth would be, I think it's fine.
okay.
Good job.
I'll give David the opportunity to do some typographical changes since he's a fresh set of eyes. But otherwise, I think if everyone's okay with this, I'll submit this with our packet. I have I tried to break the chart down into 3 categories. The style changes, modernization to kind of get us up to speed, and then clarification, which is, I just made that up. It's kind of a hybrid, which is, it's in there, but it's hard to understand. So we kind of tried to clarify what we meant. It's a little bit more than just getting rid of generalities and things like that. So
I was just gonna say, I think it could use more generalies.
Generally.
generally, I'll throw one in there. I should definitely hide one in here, generally.
Just to confuse everybody.
Yeah.
Stephanie.
So if this is, this,
He's trying to prevent himself.
if this is all right, everybody, in broad terms, I'll have David do a look at, and I'll include this in our packet as well. So the final piece of business I think we have is for me to extend an invitation. I think Mary Jane was planning on being at the council meeting on Monday to present our decisions, but we would like as many people who would like to come as well.
What
And
time is it on?
Carolyn will be there. It's at 7 o'clock on Monday, and I think
What's the date on Monday?
13th. And I believe we are the first thing on the agenda, aside from the pledge and other stuff. Does that sound right?
Isn't there some kind of graduation or something?
That's at 6 o'clock.
Okay.
Is it soon?
7 o'clock is council.
You leave, no.
You can leave.
Could be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're pretty early.
And you both.
Did she put us down as a presentation? Is that what she did?
Yeah, you're present.
So you'd get out of there, I don't care, what'd you say, by 7:30 at the latest, probably?
Oh, that's
I
okay.
only have one presentation, right?
Well, that and us.
You have
Proclamation.
across income and then charter reviews next.
So off the top of your heads, do people know for sure who might be coming?
I will probably be there.
Okay, great.
I'll come.
I probably
Yeah.
can come.
We have a board
Wait,
meeting
we
that
can
we should.
support
Do we,
you.
oh, we do, it's at 5:30 we do,
Yeah,
yeah.
we should probably be done.
We should be,
Yeah.
we'll just
Likely,
have to be done. Likely, yes.
Oh, so apparently we're giving an award to a lacrosse team that day, is that right, Cameron?
Yes.
So if it's super crazy crowded in here and you can't get a seat, it's cool if you just wait, because as soon as they get their award, there'll be plenty of seats
Yeah,
for everybody.
Right.
And anyone who wants to come up can do it, or if you just want to sit there and not do it, either way, it's fine. So it'll be pretty cool, and we can kind of walk through what we did. And I'll help too, but I'll stay back as much as need be. So now that we have that done, is there anything else we need to cover? Well, besides that, yeah.
Well, if there's anything else to cover, is there a motion to adjourn, I guess?
Well, before we adjourn, I just want to go on record with thanking Darren and staff for their yeoman's work with helping us through all of this. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Good job, good job.
Well, I do
Appreciate it.
I do appreciate that, but I really am the one who should be thanking all of you because,
Well-
hey, this has been fun. I know probably not for you, but it's one of the highlights of my weeks, but I really feel like we've
Oh, you
done.
got to get out more.
I lead a very pathetic and sad life, and our listeners can quote me on that. But it's my first time through it, but you've made it very easy and fun. I think we came out with some really good changes, and I think even the changes that we didn't make, we've put a lot of consideration into and given future commissions good ammunition to think about. So I really appreciate it.
Having done this twice in Darren's position, I I think I did maybe a third of what he did in 2 prior commissions because he's just done an awful lot, so.
Yeah.
And that requires a lot of work back in his office to do all this, so we appreciate it.
It made it super easy on us.
I appreciate
Honestly,
that.
how organized you were made it really easy to get this.
And no one's ever accused me of being organized, so I'll thank you.
Darren's office.
If you've seen my office, you would realize how magical it is that we actually have a charter at all.
Oh, maybe before we leave, we should go back and take a look.
Tour, see where the sausage.
Let's check.
And I would just like to thank all of you for serving. I know you gave up a lot of hours, a lot of evenings, and I really, really do appreciate it. So, thank you.
Good group.
If there's nothing else, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Okay, all in favor?
Hi.
Aye.
Right.
Good
You
job, Dan.
usually prepare to be here till like 9. I thought we were
Because
going to have a long
I
meeting.
know, you too.